So it's mid-April. Is it too early to catch shallow yet? Let's go and find out. Wow, that's an enormous F1. Probably one of the biggest F1s I ever caught, to be honest. Oh, look at that. That's worth the treat, isn't it? So shallow fishing on this day can be absolutely deadly. We're sort of early April now. The temperature's starting to increase, and now the fish activity should start to be theoretically on the up. So obviously, as we're introducing more bait, the whole purpose with shallow fishing is trying to make them compete as high as we can in the water layers. So we're going to run you through some stuff now with regards to shallow fishing and show you how it's done. So we're at Hillview Lakes today, doing a bit of shallow fishing with maggots. I'm just going to talk you through the rigs I use for my typical springtime shallow fishing, shall we say. The weather's broken a little bit, thankfully, and the temperatures have increased, and the fish have started to come up and feed in the upper layers now. God, perfect example. Cracking idea. So yeah, we're fishing with maggots today, and like I said, I just want to run you through the rigs I use. So the first rig I actually use is, which I class as like a searching rig. So it's a 4x8 F1 shallow float. It actually takes 5 number 11s and a number 12 trimming shot. So I actually use this, like the shotting pattern actually strung out right through the rig. And as I said, I kind of use this as an indicator to try and find what sort of level the fish are at or what depth they're at. Then we can use other things such as jiggers to try and nail them, or something like a dibber if they come up really high and the competition is really good or really strong in the peg. But obviously the main thing you need to do as well is obviously plumb up a rig on the bottom, because you want to know what depth you're actually fishing in. So we've actually got just shy of 5 foot out there. So what I've done is just set my float at 2.5 foot, 30 inches, and I'm just literally just searching the swim, just see what sort of indications I get. So we've had an eyed first chuck. There's another indication there, just as the float was just trimming up, which is probably indicating to me that they're actually shallower than what I'm fishing. So we'll just try and persevere with this a second. With the conditions being flat calm as well, I've got quite a long lash as well. It's probably like 2 foot between the float and the pole tip. And what I've actually done is put 2 number 8s back shot 2 inches above the float, which will keep the line tight between the float, the bulk and the pole tip. So theoretically, you've only got sort of 2 inches of slack line, which is the little 2 inches situated between the bulk and the pole float. So I'm just going to see, oh, there's a small fish on. Just going to see what sort of indications I get with this. And the beauty with this rig, I can sort of go shallower or deeper, because obviously I've got the lash length being quite long, so I could push the float up a couple of inches, or I could go the other way. I have set up another rig as well, basically with a shorter lash, just to try and make life easier for myself. Obviously we've set up another few rigs as well, such as a Jigga. You're not allowed to overshot here, so I do believe the next best rig to overshot in is a Jigga. Don't get me wrong, this searching rig on its day can be absolutely brilliant. Especially this time of year. Like, overshotting is a brilliant rig, but I still think it's a bit like premature this time of year. And they can sort of spook away from the pole tip when you're thrashing the water surface. So all I'm doing when I'm fishing, little indication again then. All I'm doing when I'm fishing is just lifting the hook bait like every couple of seconds, just to obviously make sure it's not static, because I don't believe those fish sort of like the bait when it's just sat there. They sort of want it falling past their face. So what I will do now in a second, if I'm not getting any more indications, I'll just whip the rig back and just add a few more inches. Oh, it's a little indication then. Just add a couple more inches. Oh, that's a small fish it is. A couple more inches to rig, so I'll do that now. So now I'll get loads of bites. A skimmer. What I do like to do as well, when obviously shallow fishing this time of year, is obviously prime your swim as well. Don't go straight on it. If you can give yourself 30 minutes, obviously do what you can, as in fishing short for a little while, and then obviously you can, like, especially fishing with maggots, I do feel like it needs to be like something that's built up. So what I've done is just added 3 inches to the rig, the depth. Just double white maggots on a 16 SFLB, 011 hook length, and then I got 015 power line main line. The only difference I've got with the Jigga rigs is that they're on a slightly thicker main line. They're on an 017. It's a little bit more durable. Obviously you've got the Jigga running up and down the line, so I think it's important to just have a little bit thicker main line. But obviously you don't want it too thick that the float don't pass through the Jigga. But then obviously on the bottom end of the rig it's exactly the same. 011 hook length, 16 SFLB. The only difference is with the Jigga, I like to use a 5-inch hook length. Here we are, just added a couple of inches and we're into one straight away. So elastic choice I'm using on obviously a mixed sort of fishery where it's like F1s, eyed, and a few carp, is the 10 Dura Hollow. Like a big F1. You see that elastic is working absolutely mint. Don't even need to strip the elastic. Using a net. Beautiful fish on. So we've actually hooked him underneath the mouth. So that was telling me straight away that I'm fishing too deep. And it's mad. Literally, we just pinched 2 or 3 inches on, and because we wasn't getting any indications, and then we fouled up one, so we probably was at the right depth. So I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna, just lost my rubber. Is just drop it 2 inches. So we're at 28 inches now. the last thing we want to be doing is foul hooking them. Repeat the process, double wipe maggot. I do like to side hook a maggot as well. I know there is a lot of small fish in here, but we will try that as well. But yeah, as I was speaking, with 10 Dura Hollow is absolutely mint for these sort of mixed species like F1s, eyed, odd carp. Do you mean? If it was predominantly carp, then I'd use something like a 12 Dura Hollow. I've also got the 11 Hollow set up for my Jigga rigs. Just think it's a little bit more, how do I say, pokier. And obviously with the Jigga fishing, it's usually quite sort of an aggressive way of fishing. So when we do get them on that rig, I just want to be in and out as quick as possible. And I think the 11 Hollow does the job for that at the moment. Obviously when we go into the summer months then, and the fishing is really good, I'd use something like a 13 Hollow then, or the 12 Dura Hollow. But yeah, obviously the important thing is being able to pick an area you swim which you can feed, because the F1s are very like particular the way they feed. Literally, you need your bait grouping really nice, which leads us on again to something that's really important, is choosing the right catapult for the job. Another nice hide. These are brilliant weight builders. They're probably over a pound in size, to be honest with these. Big old warriors. Beautiful fish, that one. Right in the top lip. Soon put a weight together with them. So yeah, I was obviously speaking about a catapult. I actually used the large Duraslip catapult, which is the white elastic in a medium to heavy grade. Obviously that works for me. Obviously there's loads in the range. You just got to choose one which suits you. What I actually do with a catapult as well, when it comes, the elastic is quite long. So what I do is actually pinch about 2 inches of the elastic off, which is really easy to do. And I just think, obviously with a shorter elastic, it recovers that much quicker. It just feels effortless with maggots and casters, or pellets. Little fish just rose there and just passed it. Ooh, that's another good hide. But if you can, that's another big hide. If you can, it's really important, obviously, just to let that maggot line build. So just give yourself a good half an hour. Oh, yeah, nice big bream. Look at that, it's a bonus. It's a lovely fish, that, isn't it? There's me thinking there was a big hide and there's a nice big skimmer. But yeah, sorry, going back to that, if you can just obviously let the swim build, obviously at a good half an hour, you should have enough competition in the peg then to just go out and clatter them. Another important one as well is just, I like to feed before I go out. Just get my pole together, catty that in, and then just flick that, spin that rig over into the feed, as long as Mr. Duck's move. Don't think about it. See what he's up to. Ooh. It's not a bad thing having the ducks in the swimmer as well, as long as they're not diving down for the bait. Obviously it creates a bit more competition in the peg as well. These F1s are not dull. They know them ducks are there for one reason, the feed. So if you've got them competing for the bait as well, theoretically the F1s have got to come higher to nab it before the ducks have it. You'll actually see it on times as well. When the F1s are feeding really high, they'll actually disrupt the ducks. These catapults are brilliant. Nice hard plastic pouch. And as I said, just like I just pinch a couple of inches off mine. Just so they recover a little bit quicker. Looks like it's an F1. Ooh. Nice fish on them. Lovely golden F1, that one. Right in the top lip. So it probably shows that we're on about the right depth. That's so important as well, is obviously just keeping an eye on the hook placement. Top lip to sort of side lip is telling you that you're in the right sort of depth. If you was hooking them anywhere in sort of like the bottom lip or underneath the chin area, then you're probably fishing too deep then. So it's just a case of shallowing up. It's just a case of repeating the process all the time. Make things easier for yourself as well, where the pole is out your hand. Catty a bit of bait in, because it is difficult at times, especially when you've got a wind on, is actually holding the pole and feeding at the same time. What I like to do as well is just keep a little bit of pole behind me as well, especially when we've got a bit of side wind now. Ooh. I just think with that bit of carbon alongside your hip, you can sort of put your body behind the pole as well. You see that wind's coming over my left shoulder now. So I can anchor that pole right underneath me there. Which gives me a bit more balance and resistance. What I actually like to do as well when I'm spinning the rig over is actually go the same way as the wind. Keeps everything tight. Obviously just falls back in an arc. And then obviously once it's reached its optimum depth, which is 24 inch now, or just a little bit deeper. Yeah, that's a fish now, look. And the nice thing is now, like the rig is working absolutely bang on. It didn't even need to strike there, they just hooked itself against the back shot. Like if you get all those things right, this can work as good as any sort of self-hooking rig. Don't get me wrong, the conversion rate is completely different with these searching rigs compared to an overshotted rig or a jigger. But this does give you a real good understanding and reading of what's actually going on in your swim. And I think that's what's been lost recently with the amount of overshotting that's going on, to be honest with you. So that's a good sign now. We've had 2 F1s on the bounce. Fingers crossed they've bullied those pound skimmers and eyed out the way. It's mad to be saying that. Bullied the pound skimmers out the way. Just fearing for my life for a second because I've just seen a huge black ball of carp coming through now. It's about 10 metres to my right. Don't know if you can pick it up on the camera. They look a bit nasty at them. Looks like another decent fish, this one. So if it was just giving us a little run around, just pin your pole on your lap, just get some more bait in it. As I said, them fish are only there because their maggots are going in there, do you mean? As soon as you stop feeding, they'll just go somewhere else. So it was a good fish, this one. So now we've had a few fish at like 2 foot. What I'm going to do is actually move us on to our 2 foot jigger rig. Because I feel now we're having a couple of F1s here now. They'll lead us on nicely now to our next rig. So as I said, we're only using a 011 and 16 SFLB. I know the SFLB range has been designed for silverfish, but you get everything right. Balanced, I mean. These fish you can catch with ease as well. And obviously we got it coupled up nicely with a 10 Dura Hollow. We'll hold that one up, it's a nice fish, that one. Let's get that rig out the way. It's a nice little bonus then to go with those silverfish and F1s. Ooh. So obviously another important thing is obviously the inch depth markers on the top kit. This is a great tracking way of just obviously seeing what depth we're at. As you can see there, we was fishing at like 25 inch. So obviously we can just pick the jigger up now. And obviously I've got that set at 2 foot. What we've got on the rig is actually, just obviously you need to check with fishery rules, as in what lash length limit is where to put your float stop. But I do believe you, there's no lash length limit. So what I've done is just push the bead right up to the Dacron fitting. And then obviously that allows then the jigger to run right from the 5-inch bulk all the way up to the bead. What I've actually done on my deeper jigger, I'll just show you quickly, is put a double bulk in. So obviously when I talk about a double bulk, is literally what it just says on the tin. I've got 1, 2 bulks. So all that is doing is, I feel that when that one bulk is only situated on a 5-inch hook length, you've got a large area of slack line. So by introducing another bulk, it actually creates the line even tighter. So yeah, obviously once I go over sort of 2 foot, that's when I'll introduce another bulk. And if for instance you had to fish sort of like 4 foot jiggers, you could even introduce a third bulk then. So what we've got is a Preston Jigga on now, the 4 to 6 mil version. So I shot mine with 6 number 10 stots. You can actually put it on with 5 number 9s as well. I like to use the smallest shot where possible. So just same again, plenty of bait in. And there's a few ways of being able to present your rig with these jiggers. So if the duck moves, you can actually turn the rig over. Oh, look at that. That's worked a treat, doesn't it? I didn't even get a chance to show you how to present in another manner. And that's the species we've come for. Right in the top of the kisser. If you get these lined up, you can do a tremendous weight now. So as I said earlier, we've got a 5-inch hook length, then a bulk, and then obviously the remainder of the rig then is obviously the jigger running up to 2 foot where the bead is situated, or the stop I should say. So same again, just get them maggots into the swim. That's a good sign now. We've had like probably 4 F1s on the bounce now. So what I'm going to do is just repeat that process, just turn the rig over, get that line right above the float, and then just lower him down slowly. And then once I get to the bead, just going to flick it up sort of like 6 inches. So that's all them little flicks are doing, is just once the rig's straightened out there, small fish. Once the rig is straightened out, once it's hit the bead, it just kicks those little lifts, just kick the hook length back up. So I'll just show you another way of presenting the rig as well. And it can work really well on this day. Once the ducks move, it's just obviously flicking the rig past the pole tip, keeping it nice and tight so it'll come in on a pendulum. And then what you can do then is just lower it, obviously nice and slowly through your rig, through your area you're fishing. Yeah. I think they're actually a bit higher than. Oh, that looks a big angry one. Hoping we've turned him there. Yeah. Come on, Mr. Carpy. He's heading right for that island then. We don't want to be going in there. So all I'm going to do now is just trap that pole between my legs. Get some more feed in while he's having a little dance about. Wow, that's an enormous F1. Look at the size of that. Wow. That's ridiculous. Look at the size of that thing. Ooh. That's gotta be £7 easily. Gotta get a picture of that one. That is absolutely ridiculous. F1 mount. Beef. So there we are. That was an absolutely dinosaur, prehistoric F1. It's probably, I think I was being generous on a diet, saying it was £7, but it's probably more near eight. Probably one of the biggest F1s I ever caught, to be honest. So that's just proof in the pudding of how effective our Jigga rig can be. So I'm not going to dwell on that now. We're going to go and get another one now. So I'm just going to do that presentation again. Is obviously just flick it past the pole tip, let it come back in on a pendulum. So we're going to treat that one. I think that's an hide. Just navigate him out the swim, get those maggots back in there for the next one. Nice big hide. It just goes to show how versatile the rig is as well. This rig is not just designed for F1s and carp. You can catch hide and skimmers on it as well. Hide are notorious for hitting the bite stream, and this rig it's just a conversion rate with it. You miss so many bites with fixed rigs, but I think this is how they work really nice hand in hand. Obviously using that fixed rig as a searching rig to find what actual depth they're at, which we did. We found they're at 2 foot, and then we can just swap our rigs, get straight onto the Jigga, and then just absolutely nail them. I think something else we should talk about as well, which makes your life easier, especially with shallow fishing and trying to be efficient, is your roller placement and your pole sock. Now, having everything to hand is just a fundamental to being fast and efficient. Now, putting all these like factors in together, they're sort of like 1%ers, which make a massive difference at the end of the day. And another, like, obviously what I was saying with your roller placement as well, is obviously having your pole at sort of an angle where you can ship down over your legs, plus being able to ship in one without breaking down, because that can be absolutely massive come the end of the day. We talk about seconds, breaking down your sections. At the end of the day, that could end up being like a few minutes. I know it sounds mad, but then if you lose the match by, say, £3, those 10 minutes in the water could have cost you massively. Here we are. That's an F1. Really aggressive. So we're just guiding straight to swim. I love this 11 Olo for this type of fishing. It's absolutely mint. It's an elastic that's been about for years, but it's absolutely brilliant. Another nice F1, lovely. Absolutely brilliant fishing here today at Hillview Fishery in Tewkesbury. Just nailed that one. This is another nice F1. So there you go, folks. There's my 3 springtime shallow rigs. Obviously there's the F1 shallow, which I use as a searching rig. Once I find they're at a certain depth, that's when I move on to my second rig, which is obviously the Jigga rig. So then, like I said earlier in the video, once I find they're at 2 foot, I'll just set this at 2 foot and use this rig. And then the third rig is obviously a dibber rig for when they come up really high. And again, you could use this as a searching rig. I use a little dibber from sort of anywhere up to 18 inches deep. And then obviously you could also trim down another jigger and use it at that depth as well. So yeah, I hope these rigs are really useful to you. And if you enjoyed the content, then don't forget to like and subscribe the YouTube Preston channel.